DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts. It's the week of Monday, July the 8th, and you're listening to episode 73 of DuckTalks. Welcome to a brand new episode of DuckTalks, because that's how podcasting works. I think I've covered that before. Anyway, glad that you took the time to download this episode and listen to it. We hope you enjoy yourself. And if you do, please be sure to go to whatever podcatcher you use and offer us a review or maybe a rating of some kind. 5 stars, we appreciate that. If this is the first time you've listened to our podcast, we're going to talk about DuckTales. Not a lot of DuckTales, because there's not a lot of DuckTales news tonight. The show, of course, is still on hiatus. We're waiting on new episodes to begin again in September. And right now, you'd think we would have very little to talk about. We might even consider taking a week off, but that's not going to be the case. We have a ton of notes to go over. Hey, my name's Mitch. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me tonight, I have Pirate Steven and Josh.
Ahoy there.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Man, I'm worn out. I've been working all weekend. Did you guys have a great July 4th weekend? Long July 4th weekend?
Yeah, it was a Stranger Things / Spider-Man week, really.
Yeah, I'm in spoiler mode still. Haven't been able to make it yet, of course. I rarely get to go the first week that a movie comes out.
Yeah, I'm working my way through Stranger Things right now, but then once that's done, I'm going to work on getting Spider-Man in theaters.
I hear that with Spider-Man, the big reveal's at the very end in the after credit scenes. So anytime I see or hear, because usually with a Marvel movie in the last few years, I've been kind of lenient on those and not been walking away from conversations. But I hear this one's a doozy, so I'm trying to stay away from those for now. But that's not why we're here. Let's talk about some DuckTales news, or at least some things around DuckTales news, some DuckTales merchandise. We've got a few things to talk about. I've been joking with the guys that I'm going to call this episode DuckTalks versus the Pin and Ornament Collection, because that's the majority of our Duck merch. Actually, that may be all of our Duck merch this week. Before we do that, we're going to take a moment and take a look at some feedback, because you guys and gals have been sending us some amazing feedback. We've had a few emails that we've kind of looked at, but we've not been able to go through them. We really enjoy the emails. You can always email us at ducktalkspod@gmail.com. And we've had some people sharing some fan theories and some ideas for some projects that they're working on. We're going to be sharing more about that in the future, and because there's some things that are pretty cool out there that people are working on. So as I'm pulling up the feedback on our notes, I did want to take a moment and mention that there are a number of places you can catch our podcast. If maybe you've been listening for a while and one of these would work better for you, or maybe you're new to the podcast and again, maybe one of these would work better for you. So our episodes always post over at res.tv. That's our host site. Res came alongside us and helped us. Res TV was excited to help us out when we got started podcasting, and so they offered us a place to post our episodes, and that's been great for us. You can always follow the links when we post the podcast episodes and stream the episode online, and you don't have to do anything else. Just hit the play button. If you want, you can also download the episode and listen to it as an MP3, but we also load our episodes over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Android, Google Podcasts, and of course you can subscribe to the RSS feed. I don't know how that works. I've never subscribed through anything other than a podcatcher, but I know it's an option for you. And one final way that you can listen is that after I get the episode edited, I'm sending them over to Josh. Actually, that we're not doing it that way anymore, but that's behind the scenes. You don't care. The episodes are going to Josh, and Josh is posting them on YouTube. So within a short period of time, they should be up on YouTube for you to listen to. and we've heard from a lot of people that they like that. We've noticed the number of subscribers going up pretty quickly. And those look fantastic, Josh. You've done a great job with all the graphics and everything.
Thanks. I've been working on getting them up. I have the first, I think, like 31 now up. Maybe it's a little higher than that. But I'm slowly kind of getting through our backlog. We have quite a few episodes to put up there. So just keep an eye out if you're listening to them on YouTube. I'm gonna just slowly over the next few weeks finish up and then catch us all the way back up on that platform.
And it's really cool because people are coming across them for the first time. I've been interacting with some people in the comments over on YouTube in the last few weeks while Josh has been adding the episodes. We've had some really deep conversations, some that probably need to make it to the podcast, because I'm seeing a lot of people online a little upset with the current DuckTales portrayal of Donald. That makes for some good conversation for us to talk about that, and just how he's different in the various iterations, and the comics and his old cartoons and DuckTales 87 and now DuckTales 17, and maybe even a new show that might come out on Disney Plus that we talked about a few weeks back. Maybe we'll get to that conversation after that show debuts. We do have some feedback. Now, this is from Apple Podcasts. That's the main way we're checking them right now. If you have provided a review over on one of the other podcatchers, if you'd email that to us, we would love to read it on the podcast. I'm going to look into finding out how I can check those, since I don't use those platforms, and I'll try to keep up with it. But I don't know that there is a way, since I'm on an Apple device. Not sure. If you know, email us, ducktalkspod@gmail.com. Tell me where to go to find instructions for that, because I'd love to read those as well. So anyway, we've got a new 5-star review that is ever so gracious from Hawkeye260. And they said, "I've been listening for a while and I love it. I'm so glad that these guys talk about this stuff, and I like how connected they are to the community. I get so excited every time I get a notification from their vids. Definitely recommend." Hawkeye, we appreciate that. We do enjoy interacting with the community, and that's kind of the point of the podcast. And I keep saying that, but for those who maybe are listening for the first time, we want to have conversations with you. So definitely email us or go over to Twitter, go to the website, ducktalks.com, and comment, start conversations. This podcast is just a springboard for conversations. I'm sure we're going to get even more emails about people who are upset with how Donald's portrayed now that I brought it up. But that's okay. Maybe that'll be more reason for us to talk about it. And if you'd like to give us a review, we promise to read it on the podcast. Speaking of emails, we have an email from Nick L., and Nick said, "If Oswald could get introduced into DuckTales, that would make my life. I am super happy that they are rumored to be making an Oswald show. Disney Plus is going to be awesome." And yeah, I imagine we're going to be talking a lot about Disney Plus as we get closer and closer to November. We know we're at least getting DuckTales 87, DuckTales the movie, and Goof Troop. And Goofy Movie and Extremely Goofy Movie. Is that right? Is Extremely Goofy Movie coming to Disney Plus?
It is. For all of those Extremely Goofy fans out there, they're going to love it. It's going to be there with the Goofy Movie. You can do them back to back.
Nice. Double feature. Disney Plus is sounding better and better. And of course, this week, there's been a lot of rumor and speculation about an Oswald series. Now, I had heard about the Oswald series being a possibility a while back, and I've even heard rumors of various people connected with the project. It's only rumor at this point, other than the fact that we have seen some people online commenting on the fact that they're getting called out for working on it. I don't think they can officially say they've worked on it, but they're really excited about everyone's excitement around the project.
Yeah, I would totally watch Oswald series. I think it's a great character. I'm lucky enough to have the Disney Treasures series. Leonard Maltin did a DVD series a couple of years ago, and it has like all of the Oswald shorts from back in the day. Would also be great to be released on Disney Plus, but I think more people need to be brought to attention. This character who predates Mickey Mouse is a good character.
Yeah, I really hope this is going to be like a trend, because I know with our conversation with Matt Danner, he was saying that Disney's was kind of wanting to bring some of the old kind of forgotten characters back into the limelight, and bringing it to Disney Plus would be a perfect platform to kind of showcase these characters again and kind of bring them out, because kids these days haven't even heard of these characters, and it would be great just to see them again.
Yeah, I think it's pretty genius how so for people that don't know the whole story of Oswald, it was a character that I don't know how to say his name. It's UB Iwerks or Iwerks, and Walt Disney created this character of Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit, and Walt was on a business trip to go on for the next season of what they were going to do, or the next series of cartoons, and he found out that the company he was working with was taking the character from him. And then on this train ride home, him and his wife came up with Mickey Mouse. That's the legend. That's the story. But it wasn't until 2006 where Bob Iger came up with the idea, or he gets credit for it, that when Al Michaels was getting switched from Monday Night Football to Sunday Night Football, that they added into the contract that Disney would get the rights back for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. So Al Michaels, the NFL announcer, was traded for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
I've done a little bit of research into the character over the last few years. Ever since, I think it was Epic Mickey. Epic Mickey had Oswald, but it was Epic Mickey 2 where you could play as Oswald. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that got me interested in the character, and that was when I first started looking into him. And man, I was surprised at all the content that had been there. And then even with the company that took him from Walt, they continued to produce stuff. And there's a huge list of voice actors who have played Oswald. I mean, just some top talent too. So it's characters got a rich history that, like you guys said, most people don't know about. So it's going to be really cool seeing him reintroduced kind of mainstream, if this rumored series is true. And I think we're all banking on the fact that it is. Maybe we find out more about it at D23. We know that we're expecting some surprises at D23. It'd be a great time for them to really reveal some stuff that's coming for Disney Plus. I know Disney has revealed what they already have produced, and like the stuff that's being re-released on Disney Plus, we already know about it. But a lot of the new projects are still kind of under wraps. We haven't seen a lot of them. And Matt even said in our interview a couple of episodes ago that in our conversation, it sounded like Disney has projects they've been working on that are maybe already ready to be released. So they've got projects they're sitting on for Disney Plus, and of course, we know that's true with the Three Cabs. That series they had wrapped the series before we even found out it existed, obviously because it was airing over in the Philippines. But it's really cool that there's all this content coming, and some of those rumors about this Oswald project, pretty exciting. Can't wait to hear more. Here's something we haven't done in a while. Let's have a return of Listener of the Week. And the inspiration for the return of Listener of the Week was a tweet that we had. There was someone over on Twitter, and I think the name they go by is Satire, but the Twitter handle is StorytimeNT. And they said that they were packing for a trip, and part of that packing was downloading episodes of the DuckTalks podcast. And of course, we interacted with that and let them know how thankful we were that they would share that online and that they were listening. They were downloading episodes. And then one of our friends online, Zoomy, who's currently going by 16 cents. I know people change from time to time their handle, but had a Moana You're Welcome GIF And that's when we realized that Zumi had recommended us to this person. So we wanted to recognize Zumi as our listener of the week for sharing our podcast with one of their friends.
Well, I'm glad people are still sharing the podcast with their friends, because I know we have a big passion for the DuckTales universe, and it's a big thing for a lot of people. And discovering the new show is it's kind of still happening with people. It's kind of surprising that it's not out there all the way for everybody to like know about it. But as people are learning about the show, they are looking for content like podcasts, and luckily we have quite a few that we've built up over the last few years. So it's exciting to see a new listener for the show.
All right. So if you want to be listener of the week, all you got to do is share the podcast. Whether you do that in a retweet in some conversation, or if you just tag someone in a post about our podcast. Maybe you want to send us an email telling us a story about how you told someone about the podcast while you're at, I don't know, Target or somewhere. Whatever it is. You share the podcast, let us know about it. You could be our listener of the week. Now, somebody has to do it, because next week I don't want to skip out on listener of the week.
We're not trying to bribe them or anything.
No, you're just going to get a mention. I mean, it's a no prize. Absolutely. Maybe one of these days we're to the point we can give prizes for stuff like that. We were working on some giveaways. Things to come. And that's it for feedback. If you'd like to reach out to us, email us, ducktalkspod@gmail.com. Go to Twitter. You can find us as DuckTalks. We're also on Tumblr, Instagram, kind of. Check us out on YouTube. You can always comment there and we'll have some conversations. And yeah, we appreciate the feedback. Let's look at news. So as far as news goes, this actually was an item that we probably could have spoken about last week, but I think we kind of realized it was happening last minute, and so it might have been a blurb in the last episode. But Disney XD, if you remember, or maybe you don't know this, DuckTales started off on Disney XD. That's where the series premiered. That's where the majority of the first season aired before the show made the switch over to the Disney Channel. And of course, Disney XD's been running reruns of the show ever since. This month, that being the month of July, they're going to be airing episodes every Monday. They're going to be doing the top Monday countdown, and it has they tweeted about this with a video talking about how Huey Duck will count down the top tech featured on the show during back-to-back episodes starting at 7 p.m. on Disney XD. That's every Monday, so by the time you hear this, you should have a few more Mondays. I don't even know what the date is, but you should have a few more Mondays to catch this out if you have Disney XD. I do not currently have Disney XD, so I wasn't able to check this out. I hear there's a number of new bumpers, and there may have even been some new footage that I saw online. I haven't been able to track it down and find out exactly what it is yet. If you're watching DuckTales on Disney XD, that's a great way to be able to get some additional content, I think. I've not actually seen it. Maybe some people will tell us a little more about it who have Disney XD and are watching it. But we've been watching it on Disney now. Last bit of DuckTales news, I believe, other than merchandise, is going to be, we're going to talk about this Disney Magic Kingdoms update that included DuckTales. This is a game that I downloaded when it first came out pretty early on. I saw a lot of people were enjoying it. It kind of appealed to me, the whole sim tycoon type game on my mobile device, so I downloaded it on my iPad, played it for a little while, and at some point my wife got interested in it, and so she was asking a lot of questions. I was like, yeah, sure, won't you can update my stuff, absolutely, I won't have to pay as much attention to it. She took the game over. Whenever I would open it on the iPad, I didn't even know what was going on anymore. So I eventually walked away from it. She played it for quite a while before the iPad started struggling to keep up with it, and we deleted it. Well, now DuckTales has been added, so I downloaded it to my phone, and it started me over close to where she had stopped playing, so I actually have a lot of stuff. And started working on these characters, and I don't know if you guys have played this game before, But man, it's hard to collect some of these characters.
I heard Disney Magic Kingdoms was expensive, so I'll let that up to you.
It can be. You know me. So on the development side of this, it costs a little bit of money to make these games. Of course, they sell advertisement in them now, so I keep that in mind. But every now and then, I don't care to throw a couple of bucks at it. Just as long as it's not much. $3 special on a character and some stuff. I'm all about that. I might do that every now and then. But typically, the characters are like regular $20. Some of them you'll get a special where they're $10, and I don't pay for that kind of content. I just don't see a digital character being worth $20. I think when Jack Sparrow was introduced, he was in a bundle that was $20, and I just can't justify that purchase. So that was one of the things that drove me away from the game.
You might buy a Darkwing Duck with Launchpad package for $20.
2 characters, maybe, especially 2 characters that I'm that fond of. But I've had that dilemma because in this update, so let's talk about the update. So in this update, and it's actually geared towards The Lion King, so it's kind of funny, but included in the update, they tacked on Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and Scrooge, actually all 4 of them, are regular characters. So it's not like a special time. It's not like you've got 2 weeks or they disappear. Nothing like that. They've been added to the game. They will always be there. You can earn them at any point. If you decided to download this game right now while you're listening to me, you have just as much opportunity to get these characters as anybody else playing. So that's a plus. The downside is Scrooge is a premium character, meaning you can't earn him. You can't earn him during normal gameplay. You have to purchase him using in-game currency called gems. Now, you can earn gems just by playing the game, but it's very slow, and Scrooge costs 600 gems. So to give you an idea of how long it would take, I have a lot of characters. I haven't counted them. But it takes me a while to update my game with all of my characters and buildings and everything. But even with all of my characters and playing a lot over the last week, I think this came out July 3rd. So I've been playing, 5 days? So in 5 days, I have earned 107 gems. So I'm looking at about a month to earn Scrooge with the in-game currency. Now, as I'm playing, I may gain additional opportunities, so it might be a little shorter than that, but really hardcore playing, because I've been trying to stay on this, it's going to take me about a month. I originally thought it was going to be more like 2 weeks. It's not working out that way. But they do have a package. If you want to drop $10 on the game, you can buy Scrooge for $9.99. You get to upgrade him to level 3 automatically, and Scrooge helps you to unlock Donald. The key there is that if you're new to the game, you have to have Donald and Donald's boat in order to unlock Huey, Dewey, and Louie. If you have Scrooge, he helps you get Donald, and then Scrooge also helps you get Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So for $10, you get a pretty good jump on those characters. I just don't see $10 being worth it. I'm going to wait a month, and I'll have Scrooge, and I should have Huey by then, and maybe I'm working on Dewey.
All right, let us know how it goes. Disney Emoji Blitz had a Sword in a Stone event this weekend. I feel like that's a great underrated movie. And it was a villain event for Madam Mim. So I was able to unlock her. And I was able to unlock Archimedes from one of the diamond boxes for the event. And then I got a second Archimedes. I wasn't able to get Merlin, who was an exclusive, or Wart from or Arthur from Sword in a Stone, but those will be in gold boxes later. So that's how I spent my Disney mobile gaming week.
I've been still playing the Disney Heroes game. It's ever since they released Darkwing Duck, I've been kind of playing it in there. They've been releasing a bunch of Toy Story characters on there, so it's haven't been much Disney afternoon, but they have to date the game pretty regularly, so there could be more content soon. So hopefully, cross my fingers.
Yeah, how are you doing with that game? I've kind of lost interest in it. At the end, I've not played it in a while, But when I was playing it regular, I was really struggling to hang in there.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind or pay to play sometimes in it, but I don't know. I'm one of those who I don't mind grinding. I just do a few things in the day and then kind of leave it for the rest of the day and kind of pick it up the next day. So it's just something that I just do on occasion. I'm not like going hardcore about it, but it's still kind of fun. It can be very monotonous though, but if you don't mind grinding, then it's a game where you can kind of get far by doing that. But other than that, there's a lot of paywalls you have to get through.
Yeah. I logged in not long ago, did a few things within the guild, and I actually need to do it again to spend some more currency for the guild. And I was trying to, I know I saw it before, there's a way for me to hand over the responsibilities of our guild to someone else, and I couldn't find it. So I need to get back in there and find that, because I'm just not playing it anymore. I cannot stay in it. I don't know what it is. It just became very grinding. So I'll give you the keys to that kingdom as soon as I can figure it out. That's our update for Disney mobile games. We're playing quite a few of them right now, and like I said, I'm enjoying Disney Magic Kingdoms again. I did put out, I don't know if you guys noticed this, I kept going back and forth on, I'd kind of like to go ahead and buy Scrooge so that I can collect the nephews quicker and maybe do another blog on it. But the blog that I did about it wasn't uber popular. Not like those blitzers, man. Those blitzers get into those blogs about Disney Emoji Blitz. But I kind of threw it out there on Twitter. I was like, listen, 100 retweets, and I'll go ahead and buy them and do stuff with it. And I thought, I two sides to this. Either one, people do it just to see me spend the money, or maybe I find the Disney, Magic Kingdoms community, and we get to share in our fandom with them as well. Or two, nobody retweets it and I'm off the hook. Well, I think it had like 3 retweets, so I'm off the hook. I'll earn him. I'll get him in a month. Moving on to Duck merch.
We got Duck merch. Woohoo!
So in Duck merch this week, we've got a few items to talk about, mostly pins and ornaments. But one thing we wanted to make sure we covered at the beginning of Duck merch was that we received an email from Bernie on July 7th. So that was yesterday. And Bernie was letting us know that Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge, the volume 22, the 24-karat moon, this is part of the complete Carl Barks Disney library, is up for pre-order on Amazon. Now, I think you checked this, Pirate, and it's got a placeholder of April 2020, but we've seen those dates move. But that's just an idea of, you're looking at almost a year before this is out.
Yeah, it seems like Fantagraphics puts a date out there just to get the pre-order out and to get everybody excited about it. And those dates will fluctuate maybe a month or two. But every year Fantagraphics releases 2 volumes of the Carl Barks Disney Library, and that will be the spring release, volume 22. And volume 21, which hasn't come out yet, is actually going to be in October, and that's Christmas in Duckburg. So that's the next one we have to look forward to.
We've been reading these. We've been reading these as part of our Beyond DuckTales segment, and we've really enjoyed them. Pirate's been reading ahead so that he can do reviews and be able to provide some content on these as they're released. So he's read a lot of Carl Barks stories at this point. I'm getting into the really good stuff. So volume 5, 6, and 7 and 8. That's what we've read so far, have all been good. I'm really looking forward to these Uncle Scrooge stories coming up.
Yeah, it's really cool to see like the origin of the Beagle Boys and origin of a lot of the characters, where the money bin comes from. Like these are all great stories that you really gotta. I mean, these Carl Barks Disney Library books are like textbooks. This is the textbook on Scrooge McDuck and the family, and really the source material for DuckTales. So, totally recommend it. It's great to read a book. I can't believe how many books I've read the past 2 years from going just deep diving into these Carl Barks and Don Rosa library books. It is great to expand your knowledge on your fandom. So totally recommend anything Carl Barks Disney Library or Don Rosa Library or Disney Masters by Fantagraphics, because they're all, like I said, textbooks on the stuff we love to read. So
something interesting that I heard on another podcast this week, I was listening to an interview with Mike Peraza, and Mike was talking about the early days of DuckTales, and he was working on backgrounds and sets and designing stuff like that. And Carl Barks came in, and he was like, I took it he was doing like a tour of the project and the facilities, and he was looking at some of Mike's work. And I'm gonna save this story because I hope we have Mike on soon. It's a possibility, and I'd really like to allow him to tell the story. But the takeaway from it was I was really surprised at the amount of Barks, I'm not going to say involvement in the series, but the fact that he was kind of involved at the beginning. Like, he knew it was going on. He knew DuckTales, the 87 DuckTales was happening, and he seemed to enjoy what he was seeing with the first season and the creation process. So I didn't realize that. I just kind of took it that it was compartmentalized, but it's really cool to see that he got to enjoy seeing that what he had created in the comic format was coming to television, and to hear that he was really on board with it. So that makes me even more excited to read his stories, knowing that he kind of approved of the series. Typically when we get ready to record on Monday, there's something that breaks that gets the fandom all in a tizzy and excited, and this week was no exception, because we had Mondo's Disney Afternoon pins announced and up for pre-order. They're available already online at Mondo's website. But this was a pleasant surprise, especially for a group of guys who do not collect pins. I do not collect pins.
Or do you?
I don't.
Yeah, these pins are really cool. They're kind of stylized, but they're definitely they're really neat. We have a Darkwing Duck pin. There's a Scrooge McDuck, and then we got a Chip and Dale from Rescue Rangers, and a Gadget. So it's a pretty good variety. I feel bad for Monterey Jack because he always gets the short straw and the merch, but. These look really cool. They're about $10 a piece. You can get them off of their website. I'm kind of interested to see how large they are, but they're really neat.
Yeah, $10 is a great deal for a pin, and of this quality too. Mondo teams up with fantastic artists out there, and anything they produce and put for sale on their website, mondotees.com, that is Disney related usually sells out pretty fast. They had some great Three Caballeros pins that were released a couple of weeks ago, and they had one for Donna Jose and Panchito, and those actually sold out already. So if you have any interest in, and I hope they're not sold out by the time Mitch edits this podcast, but if you have any interest in these pins, I would get them as soon as you can, because who knows how long they'll last. They haven't really said if they're any limited edition or not, but once they're out of stock, they usually don't come back.
Yeah, and we shared this over on Twitter, and Josh got a blog out as soon as he saw them. So we tried to make sure everyone knew about these once they were announced. And man, that Chip and Dale, if I only bought two, I'd have to buy those two, because I really think those are fun. They're all nice. They're all great. But
yeah, I really wish that a print or something, or a T-shirt or something would have been released with it.
A T-shirt. Oh.
Because, I mean, a print would look great. If you had a print with the same stylized Disney Afternoon type characters, and you bought the pins and put it around the mat, that would look fantastic. So who knows? Maybe they'll release something related in the future. I tried to reach out to the artist his name's Chris Lee to see if he was working on or did any other designs for this, because you see Monterey Jack not there, and you think, just like the Funko Disney action figures, is, hey, they're going to eventually release him down the line, right? So maybe there'll be a series 2 of these things, and more characters will be introduced, and you'd have a whole Disney Afternoon pin series. That's the only thing that makes me want to get them, kind of, to see if they're going to expand on this. But I think it was a great idea for them to make them. And I know we've gotten whiff of some other stuff that Mondo's working on. I know there's some a line of Disney tikis, and a Scrooge McDuck tiki is in the works. So I was hoping they would release that this month as well, but I guess they don't want to bankrupt all the DuckTales fans out there.
They're so nice. They're so good to us.
Right?
Yeah. Those tikis. I'm still excited about those tikis.
Yeah, and the tikis, I'm guessing, are going to be like $40, $50 for this tiki mug. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure we can get Mitch or somebody, or maybe Josh can put in a YouTube part of this video. The tiki looks awesome. It's Scrooge McDuck, and on the back is the money bin, and in all tiki form, stylized form. So definitely not something you want to drink out of, or maybe you do. But would look great in a collection or a bar out there.
If I'm buying a cup, I'm drinking out of it.
All right.
I didn't think you kept your figures on the card.
It's not on a card if you drink it out of a mug. You gonna put it in the washing machine too, Mitch?
No, I'll hand wash it.
All right.
I'm not an animal.
Right.
Speaking of pins, there was a DuckTales 2017 pin released at the Disney Studio Store on Hollywood Boulevard. We've talked about this before, but I remember when they had the Darkwing Ducks with a Sunday pin that was released. These are special editions, very rare, go very quick, become expensive online type pins. You guys follow this?
Yeah, you gotta really know somebody in California by Hollywood Boulevard to go get these when they're magically announced or released, because this batch was a limited edition of 400. Gizmo Duck, between the three of them, was the least popular, but I mean, he's going up against Flash from Zootopia, eating an ice cream that's just melting because he's so slow, and Scar, there's a lot of Scar fans out there. So, and what happens is their design is a Disney character, Pixar character, or whatnot, eating an ice cream because they sell it in the ice cream store, and you get a free sundae with it, or you're paying for the sundae. But for $16, you get a extreme limited edition pin and a sundae. So I think that's a great deal. I'm glad that whoever out there is able to get it, because Gizmo Duck is in the 2017 form, and he looks pretty cool. He's no Darkwing, but they have released a Darkwing in this series before, but it was the classic Darkwing, and then they had a launch pad, but it was the 2017 version. That's true. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a 2017 Darkwing, but these pins are very popular. I'm sure it's sold out by now, so if you want it, definitely check out eBay. You're probably going to spend like $33, $38 on it.
Cha-ching.
That's an expensive pin. I mean, you can get all 4 Mondos
for $55.
For 5 Mondos for $50 plus shipping.
I don't collect pins. There's some that are tempting, though. I mean, if I did collect pins, I'd be all about these. For sure. You know something I do collect? Ornaments. I like to get a duck-related ornament every year. Ever since the fiasco where I missed out on the Huey, Dewey, and Louie sketch one. One of these days I'm going to break down and pay $40 for it online. But last week when we were recording, we went back and forth on whether or not to mention that there was, because I mean, we'd already blogged about it, we'd already shared it online, but there was a Donald Duck ornament that was released at the Disney stores, and they were available at shopdisney.com. I don't know that they were in stores. I don't know that you would find them in stores yet, but it was available online. And then another Disney store Donald Duck ornament became available, and it's Donald Duck Legacy sketchbook ornament. This one's really cool because you've got a contemporary Donald on one side, and then you have the original Donald on the back side. And so you've got two figures, at least it looks to me like these are two figures, on this single ornament. It's very cool, celebrating Donald's, the Donald Duck Club and Donald's 85th anniversary. And when I say classic Donald, it's the wise old hen Donald. And then, of course, we're also getting reports of Hallmark's beginning to put out their ornaments for the year. And, of course, they have licenses to do Disney ornaments. And is there a couple there? I know there's the lunchbox and thermos ornament. And then was there another one that we heard about?
So Hallmark has their big Christmas in July premiere of their ornaments for the 2019 season. So that's this weekend. And I happen upon a Hallmark that has already started to put stuff out there, just because it's so much inventory to put out there for these things. But they had all their Disney, all their Star Wars, and everything else out there. And there's a Donald Duck short called Good Scouts, which has Donald Duck and the three nephews in camping attire, and is a great ornament from that, which everybody needs to pick up because it's awesome. They have that Donald Duck one, and like you said, the DuckTales 2017 lunchbox and thermos set, two ornament set, is great as well. But that one's not coming out until October. And the Good Scouts one will be available starting this week. So if you need to have the ornament this early, I don't know about you guys, but when I hit the Hallmark stores pretty hard the day after Christmas to hit up that sale, because they usually go 50% off, sometimes 40, but usually 50% off. So it might be a good opportunity to buy either of those ornaments. But if you don't want to risk it, I would get them when they come out, because these are great ornaments.
Yeah, the Good Scouts one looks great. I don't know why I keep forgetting which one it is. We talked about it before we started recording, but yeah, I showed that one to my wife, and she was like, "Don't you think we have enough duck stuff around the house?" I was like, "That's just horrible. I don't even know what's happening here."
Susie. Come on, Susie.
And she goes, and she was looking at it. She goes, "Oh, it's an ornament." I was like, "Yeah, it's an ornament." So
seasonal duck stuff, so you can rotate it.
Right, it can go in the attic until next year. So I don't know. I don't know if I want that one or the 85th anniversary Donald one. I like both of them. The Hallmark, wasn't that? I know the lunchbox one was like $22, wasn't it? I know I saw it.
No, I think you just picked that number out of your head.
Was it random?
Yeah.
It's retail at $18.99.
How much is the Good Scouts one?
Oh, that's the one I was at. Oh, the lunchbox one's $18.99.
I think Good Scouts might be $16.95 or something like that.
Sold.
Is that the which one's the Good Scouts one?
Donald in camping attire with the three nephews.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the lunchbox. I mean, I want to support it because it's DuckTales 2017.
No, you need to get it.
I was really excited when I saw a lunchbox and thermos, and now that for almost $20, I was really excited, and then it's an ornament.
Right. I mean, full size lunchbox and thermos, we would totally need that.
Yeah.
Hallmark, you need to just release that.
I mean, it's practically been made at this point. We just need to be able to make it larger. We need gyro. Well, guys, you've got. Guys, you got anything else for this episode?
This is the 1 year. Marks the 1 year anniversary since Fat Mojo had their huge action figure toy release, which for DuckTales, and we kind of missed that this year. I think it's mostly because of the hiatus and when the episodes are airing and what kind of figures are coming out. It seems like they're holding them back for a bigger release, maybe this fall or winter. So I'm sorry I don't have any other additional information for that. I've been trying to reach out to Fat Mojo, and haven't been getting concrete dates yet because probably they don't have them either. So, but once we know any more information about the Fat Mojo, because don't worry, we're on it. We are getting these things when they come out, and yeah, we'll let you know when we know.
Yeah, I'm sure even if they know, and I don't think they do at this point, but even if they did know, the way Disney keeps a tight lip on when the show's going to air, they wouldn't be able to say. So I think that's what some of the blackout is, and I agree. It's content, because there's characters we've seen in that banner. There's characters involved in this line that haven't been released yet, or they haven't debuted yet, and there's things that we think were in the banner that haven't taken place yet. So, we'll give it time. These figures are coming. We know they've been made. We've been told they've shipped to places, but they're on hold. And September's coming. Do you think we'll get a slow rollout in September? What are you guys banking on? Are we going to get another blitz of episodes in September?
Yeah, because I feel like we're gonna get blitzed, and then season 3 will be like a month or two afterwards.
It's kind of what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, it seems like from what they did in the summertime, they're gonna probably do 2 or 3 a week, and then hopefully in season 3 will be a slow burn to kind of spread out the episodes.
And this is probably something we could talk about more on another episode and not as we're wrapping up. But, ever since I've started following DuckTales and following the Disney Channel and kind of that model, which is changing. Keep in mind, Disney Plus is a game changer. But Disney has a reputation of 4 seasons for most shows. I don't think there's a whole lot of shows out there on the Disney Channel that have outlived that 4 season. I'm not going to call it a rule, but it's more than a coincidence. What do you guys think? You think the show could possibly go beyond that? Or are you at a point where you'd make a prediction on that, or something we want to think about and bring on another episode?
Well, 4th season hasn't been announced yet.
Right.
And it seems like every character gets an arc season, because we had Dewey the first year, and then Louie was this year, so I'm guessing Huey will get a season, and then maybe Webby will get a season. I think if 4 or maybe 5, and then a spin-off Darkwing series, but definitely 4,
which would debut during 3,
right? And then limited, and then we get like 10 seasons of Darkwing.
You think they would only do 10?
I mean, I wanted to say 20, but I wanted to be reasonable with 10.
Okay.
But I mean, you know what? Anything's possible.
If it's popular enough, they may stretch. They may do more seasons. I mean, I know that's their kind of the rule of thumb for the series, but I'm really hoping that we get an announcement for season 4 at Comic-Con, and then maybe some announcements for something other upcoming things for the show.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see a season 5 or longer. I think the show has potential. It just depends on the creative team and, again, what Disney programming is willing to do. I think Disney Plus is a game changer in a lot of aspects for Disney's content. I think they're going to be much more likely to take a chance on something, maybe going outside the box. They've already shown that they're doing that. with different things related to their programming and Disney Plus. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. And of course, we'll be here talking about it.
Well, you know, that this show's gotten quite a bit of nominations for awards, and I don't know how any of the other shows on Disney Channel right now are doing, but I feel like that alone should kind of give them an indication of like that how great the show is if it's being nominated and trying to get awards versus some of the other shows. Such I know some shows that they have had episodes already written up to a certain number, and I'm hoping that this will kind of motivate them to kind of keep going with the show.
Yeah, and even if it got 4 seasons, classic DuckTales had 100 episodes, which is roughly 4 seasons that we would have got with our 2017 DuckTales. But I could definitely see 125, 150 episodes. I mean, they got a great writing cast on DuckTales. Let's see how much they can churn out. I mean, every episode is gold, so I think they need to keep on churning it as long as the hiatus don't ruin the release schedule. Because I mean, seriously, we're talking about season 4 with the hiatuses that could be like 2022 and 2023. So I mean, let's get season 4 out, or season 3, season 4 reasonable.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us again this week. Great episode, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, review, give us some feedback. Shoot us an email. Check us out on Twitter. Go to the website. We are interested in sharing in your fandom. So check us out. And that's going to do it. Until next time.
Stay glom golden.
Hi, guys. Woo.
DuckTalks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. Hey, my name's Mitch. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me tonight, I have Pirate Steven and Josh.
Ahoy there.
Hey, guys.
That's perfect.
Dang it.
I'm not even going to put you saying, hey, guys. I'm just going to use her.
she decided to talk right as I unmuted.
That was great.
Hey, guys.
Hold on, I can't laugh. Do it again.